Good evening, good evening, good evening. It's Ruth Marquise, your favorite realtor. Welcome to the Ruth and Relationship Show. I am your host, Ruth Marquise, aka your favorite realtor, aka your favorite credit specialist, aka your love negotiator. I help men and women relate and get into quality relationships that lead to quality families, that lead to quality communities, that leave quality legacies. Let's build. Today's topic: the miseducation of sex and relationships. The miseducation of sex and relationships. No matter how I think we grow, you always seem to let me know it ain't working. Okay, natural hair check. Okay, like I got the products, I'm loving it. I learned how to stretch my hair. I mean, what do you think? If you're watching this live, say hi. If you're watching this later, say hi. But we are moving right along. All right, so today's topic is the miseducation of sex and relationships. And we're gonna hear from the men about how I think most of these men are in relationships. And I believe the value in it that women have to really study the men that you have to study men that are what you want, right? Like not them particular, but they embody a man that's ready for a relationship. I feel like or I think that women have a hard time deciphering what a man that is ready to settle down, be in a serious relationship looks like. Um, and that is most of the problem, right? Because the man that wants to be in a serious relationship is going to take the whole process a little differently than somebody that does not. You cannot go by words alone. Words are important, but actions speak louder than words. And then values. You have to look for the values in that person. But if you don't even know the values to look for, if you don't even know the language to hear, to have your ears tingling and say, oh, you really are interested in a relationship because they talk a certain kind of way. Now, I'm not saying, I did tell her, I was like, listen, if and if somebody says, I'm looking for a serious relationship, I'm looking for a wife, right? They could be lying. But if they never say it, that says a lot as well, right? What is this, a secret looking for a wife? You get what I'm saying? Like, oh, like one day he's gonna a guy that's single and living a single life is gonna say, oh man, she's such a great person. I just want to be. No, that's not how that goes. You being an amazing woman is not gonna make a man say, you know what, I'm just gonna commit to her. It's not that. He has to be ready and be at a place where he, you know what, I want to have a quality relationship. So today we're gonna talk about why is it that marriage, I heard on a podcast that they say marriage is not cool anymore. Like if somebody says I'm married, they're like, sucks for you, right? That's that like, I'm sorry, but that's the most ignorant thing I've ever heard. That's the most ignorant thing. You know why? Because if you grew up in a household where you saw two married people duking it out every day, raising their kids, taking care of business, and loving each other, you're like, I want that. But if you never saw it, then I could understand where it's like, oh, that's crazy because they never seen it. But if you see it, right? If you see it and you know it, then to you it's like that's possible because I've seen it. Just like the example of when I told you guys, like, hey, I used to have people tell me get out of real estate all the time. Thank God. Thank God I didn't do that. Oh Lord. Thank God I didn't listen to those people. They told me, oh no, there's no money in real estate. I know you seen everybody else making money, but there's no money for us in real estate. And I was just like, what are y'all talking about? I see people make money in real estate all the time. I see how long they take. I see how much they don't work. I see how much they do work. I see what kind of things they do. And I see what the kind of money they make. So I'm like, if I see it with my own two eyes, I'm going to be more prone to believe it. The problem is in our community that we don't really believe in marriage anymore. We don't believe it. We haven't seen it. We when we do see it, we got bad stories, we got horror stories, and that's all you hear. It's bad press. Tell me I'm lying, right? If you're saying if I'm telling the truth, you need to tell me. We got marriage gets bad press, and so we don't want it. Share this with a friend. We don't want marriage because it get bad press. Oh my gosh, the men are saying like I'm going to have to pay alimony, child support. How you going to pay all those things if you marry, sir? If you're married, no. If you're successfully married, what men forget to tell you is sometimes they get complacent in that relationship. You've seen it, ladies. You've seen a man get complacent. You see him drop off after the first couple of dates and then not do what he used to do to keep it up. And you see how the women just slide and she looking so fine in the beginning and then she stopped. You see it. So imagine in a whole marriage how he could start slipping because life start hitting you left and right and left and right, and y'all don't learn how to prioritize each other, which is a real thing because now y'all have family, you have responsibilities, you got mortgages, you got businesses, you got all these things going on. But if you make it a priority, it still gets done. Oh wow, you want me to really change it? Right? No, it's okay. Go watch Blippi and then I'll do it later. So if marriage is getting bad press in our community and we keep on saying, I don't want to get married because I ain't going to be no slave to no man. They talking about submitting. That's what I need to do. Like all of these things, thanks for the heart. All of these negative things that we're absorbing it. We are literally programming our mind. Bali, he says, Ruth, my boo. Hey, how you doing? Had to bring a real list back. All right. So we think that it's a good it's cool to down marriage, but we're doing it to the detriment of our community. You know, the kids are looking, they're watching. You leaving no legacy. A lot of us have parents that were married. Not everybody, but a lot of us do, and we're not walking in those shoes. Y'all, a lot of them kids decide not to get married or not to take it seriously, or it's like, oh well, whatever. You know, it didn't work for me the first time, or whatever. But we're not valuing it. Other communities are valuing it. And guess what, guys? What comes after marriage, y'all? What comes after marriage? Wealth. Generational wealth. That's what they don't understand. Tell their people because they don't understand. I have married couples, okay? I have examples of women. They got married or they just got married or remarried. They were single mothers or they were alone. They got together with their husbands. They both worked. They're both saving their money. They're now investing into real estate, investing into businesses, able to quit their job. You can't quit your job, you single mother of 4 and 3 kids, and think that you could just quit your job and go for a business. No. That happens inside. When you could do that, like you're taking a huge, humongous risk when you're the breadwinner, but you can do that when you're married and it turned out good. You see what I'm saying? So it's a lot of success stories. Are we putting them on the internet? I just be like, come on, y'all got to come on the show, please. Y'all have to come on the show and tell other people. I know people don't want to put their business out there, but there's a lot of success stories. I'm the realtor. I get to say, like, listen, I see the growth. I see how much, what kind of house you can get when you're on your own. And I can see what house you get when you're married, when you guys are passing on the wealth to the children. Don't y'all get it? Like the plot now is to just break up the home. Bend the plot. Now you think that the broken home is a good thing, right? And then you never get to transfer that. Why? Because we all struggling to survive on our own, but pulling resources together. There was a guy who said, and he was talking to a Muslim guy, and he said, in our country, the women, they stay home and they take care of the household. Now, a bunch of them stay, the brothers and the sisters, the brothers get married. Let's say, it was 3 brothers, right? They all get married. The women stay at home and they stay in one house. Now they're sharing in the bills, right? And the guy's only making $1,000. And this is a particular story. And he was like, why are you driving like a Lambo or something like that? You make $1,000 a month. Or whatever. He said $1,000 a month in a chicken coop place or whatever. He said, well, we pull our resources and we buy real estate with our money. And then we buy nice cars and we share it. You see what I'm saying? So that's how they're building generational wealth. That's how they're learning how to pass on things to their kids. Everybody in your family, if y'all have 4 siblings and y'all all are sitting there paying everybody got a set of rent and set of mortgage. Now, this may not be something that you could do when you have kids, but before you have kids, okay, well, if before you have kids, if y'all pull your resources together and join just in a family, the most of the people I see is doing it. They'll be at a real estate conference and they're pulling their resources. They get to now invest in properties. Now that person gets that good chunk of change, and then they could go and do their own thing, or they could stay in the family. You got options. So I thought that was very interesting how when everybody's not struggling to survive. I know what Instagram say, but in the reality is everybody's not winning. Y'all about to see that everybody ain't winning. They're gonna stop posting. They're gonna start selling their cars. It's gonna be a turn of events. See, real estate agents know when the market is up, you better work work like crazy, okay? Because when it goes down, it's gonna go down, right? This is not like we just ooh. But at the same time, we know that it goes up, it go down. Other people don't know that when they make money, you're an entrepreneur, that things will go up, but they come back down. And if you didn't save it and you over here spending like it's no tomorrow, you're gonna run out. You're gonna have your own personal crash. But that's another topic for another day. We need to have a better understanding. We need to have a better understanding of the benefits of marriage, and we need to understand where the breakdown is happening. There's a breakdown among women. We address it a lot on the show. There's a breakdown in our mindset. We feel like if we get a man, we are slave to him. That's not true. That's not true. Hit the like button if you know that's not true. How? You can get up and leave anytime. Slavery, the definition is you can't get out. You can't get out of slavery. If you're an indentured servant, you got to pay your way for your freedom. If you're a woman, you literally get rewarded for walking away by law. You get rewarded. So you don't think that man has an incentive to keep his family together besides he wants all his kids and access to his kids at all times? You see what I'm saying? Just like imagine you not being able to see your kids every day. That's how men think about their kids. They're like, what the hell? No, 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 no. Right? So if a mother cannot even imagine and fathom not seeing her kids for X amount of days, and then the men are supposed to actually live like that and actually raise kids like that, that's like, it's really a circus, to be honest, right? It's really a circus because the kids can play on each other in the broken home type of thing. So when you have marriage, you don't have those type of problems. They cannot get away with stuff when it's unless the married people are not on the same page. So your kids get brought up in a better environment. And you get to, as a man, you have one person that you have to look out for and your family, and you get to, and that person pours into you. If you pick the right woman, marriage, these men are about to tell you, not just me, marriage has benefits. Okay, men are enjoying the benefits of being married and enjoying the benefits of not having a terrible financial situation. Because whether you get married or not, a lot of men think, oh, well, if on top of that, I'm gonna have to pay alimony. Some of y'all don't make enough to pay alimony, so you don't have to worry about that, my friend. Right? So you're already out there paying child support, regardless. That have nothing to do with marriage. So now you're just making an excuse like, oh, I'm not getting married because it's gonna take all my no. So we have to remember on the man side, like what is it? What is going to make a man settle down? When is he going to have to in himself to say like, you know what? I don't think I want to go that route no more. When does that maturity kick in? Is that some people decide that that's how it's always going to be. And like when the men, there's two things that they say that kind of rub me the wrong way, right? Even though I was brought up in a two-parent household, they like some guys like, I need to know if she was brought up in a two-parent household. One, I need to know if she was raised to be a wife. Two, right? But then I'm just like, well, some of the women like that are serious about getting married. Maybe they should say, were you brought up in a two-parent household? Oh, I remember back in the day, some ladies was like, if he has a single mom, I'm not dating them. I don't know. I don't like men with single. Y'all ain't hear that one? Did y'all ever? She just basically called him a mama's boy, raised by a single mother, never gonna take things seriously. Emmanuel, what you doing? It's mine. No, it's mine. It's mine. So We have to be careful of that. So imagine, you are out there thinking everybody either is a snake or everybody's an angel. Baby girl, you in trouble. Women have to learn how to decipher the language. See, the thing about it, all right, here's a little trick. If you want to know something about somebody, you need to either ask the question first instead of just telling them this is what it is. If you can ask the question first and it's something that's important to you and a deal breaker, then you can get their honest opinion about it before you tell them what's up. They'll never know that was a deal breaker for you. They'll never know. So if you can learn a couple tricks so you can understand what you're hearing. You see people that try to say, oh, I know, I want to know if this person's a good person. But if they're not a good person, they don't even know what a good person sounds like. That person could sound like the opposite of them. They will kind of get it, but they will never understand the depth of it. You understand? If you are not a person that has good character and you're trying to decipher if that person has a good character, if you are marriage material, right? But you're on the woman's side, right? If you're made for marriage, you want to be married. You don't know what marriage material looks like for a man, though. You don't know what you can say. He has to be a provider, protector, but what is the language of a husband? Thank you for the light. What is the language of a husband? What are the words that come out of his mouth that makes you think that this is it? And then watch his behaviors. And then watch what he did to his ex. And then what if he was petty about this and that and all this? The divorce was he was not doing this and he was not doing that. Watch it. Watch what he did to his ex. Watch what he did to the people in his past. If you don't watch it, you're gonna be the next. I don't want to say victim, but you're gonna be next, sister. You're gonna be on the chopping block. And the same for the men. If she treated this guy that way and this guy that way, right? And I got a comment like, oh, y'all be acting like y'all forgetting the guy's name and stuff like that. I'm like, you sound a little hurt. You sound a little hurt. Yes, we do forget your name. We try to forget. Where ladies at? We try. Listen, you heard us. We're forgetting your name, sir. That is just woman 101 mandatory. We don't know who you are. We could have known you for 15 years. We forgot you. We forgot. Because it's like, if you treat me well, I'm never gonna forget you. But if you didn't treat me well, you don't even deserve, he was like so hot. So I was like, you could tell by that comment that he's like, oh, I did all this for this girl and she don't remember me. And like, you still heard about your past. That's why you said what you said. You see what I'm saying? So when you could take little comments and see that person's still hurt, or that person is ready, when you know what to look for and you know how they sound. So studying men that are married is vital. It's vital. And not just married, but happily married. Men that are married, they don't say a lot. They don't talk about their relationship like that. They don't want to talk about that. But the happily married men that don't mind sharing, they will tell you. So here we go, y'all. Here we go. Yep. Here we go. Yep. So what's the scenario? Hey, yo, this one. Yo, that. And yo, this. Yo, kick back. All right, here we go. This is from the cruise season. All right. So they have a variety of topics that I cannot wait to get into. Let's get into it. All right.
What are we talking about? I knew a chick that was a nerd in high school. Fine as hell. Come on, all she wore was skirts. Come on, bro. Come on, fam. All she wore was skirts, and I seen her ass. No, we don't judge as hard as women do. But if you had her with the skirt all the way down to her ankles, with the big ass glasses, most nerds have bad hygiene. Let's be real. The one time she took her glasses off, you can't say that, man. You gotta show me the stats. Most nerds don't. I can't say that. And you got old girls on the cheerleading squad walking around here looking. Come on, now. You ain't gonna lie. It's bullshit. And we know it's bullshit. Because, again, most of these dudes that's in the NFL or the NBA look fucking horrible. He gotta be the nerd of the nerds.
They were talking about
I think our perspectives, though, we look at
something about nerds, and then they was trying to flip it to women. So that's not what I was getting at today.
ugly, I still don't want it. I still don't want it. Niggas are thirsty out here. I don't think niggas gonna go for it.
He's trying to say if you have money, you still. He's saying that. I mean, he got a good point. He was saying how if there's men that like they get to the NFL and they was he pretty much calling them trash. They didn't look good when they got there. Now they in the NFL. Now, cause when people get girls, like that's how they talk. Like they're like, look, I'm more attractive than those guys. So that's where he's coming from with it. So they said, what about the girl that played on Precious? He's like, oh, she got money, and he's saying that he still wouldn't be attractive. He's saying there's guys out there that still would want her because she got money now, and that is a thing that he said some guys are thirsty. That's a thing. There's some guys they want women with money. Tell me that's not a thing. Tell me that's not a thing. But a majority of guys are just going to go for looks.
I think it said woman that was a nerd looked like
Share the live, guys. Share the live.
Have her own TV show host. Niggas gonna go for that. If she ugly, I still don't want it. I still don't. Niggas are thirsty out here. I don't think niggas gonna go for it. If she was ugly back then and she got money now, niggas ain't going for that. She just ugly with money. Come on, bro. Let's call it space. Okay. What's up, girl that played Precious on whatchamacallit? Give a fuck that Precious a millionaire. If I see her in public, I'm not attracted to her. But she was getting dudes. White dudes. I can't. Hey, so whose fault is that? Is the black man forcing her to the white man now? That's what you're saying? Yes. So it's both our fault then. No, it ain't. Because it happens more often on their side, bro. We ain't gonna do that. Because women don't make big money like that. Women, come on, man. The WNBA players make that much money.
Yeah, he don't know anything about.
Marry outside, they raise more than we do.
Why is that? And they're more successful. Why is that? Because the black man forcing them to race. No, because the black man is tired of their shit. Oh, that's a whole different conversation. Let's get to it.
To be fair, y'all know us black women can come with a mouth, and that's what he means. So stop trying to act like we angels. We know.
I'm just saying, man. You gonna make an argument? I just get on my side. That's real. Let's talk about it. But I mean, but again, to get back to the point, I think the point of what she's saying is that the common notion is wrong in terms of men who date outside their race for the majority part. She's saying that most black men do not just desire to just have a woman that's white, a woman of another race. Yeah, a lot of times they tried to date black women, got curved, and now it's like I'm gonna go where I'm appreciated. And all I'm saying is those men shouldn't be villainized for doing so.
So what I think about that one is, and I've said this before, that in the beginning I used to wonder why it was so that they were going for. Yes, baby. Can y'all hear him? Right. So he's saying the alphabet over here. I don't know if you can hear him. So, and in the beginning of this ruthless relationship journey, I used to think that men wanted women of other races. I was a little salty about it because of personal experience. But when I think about the person and I think about who it was and how it was, there are certain guys that go for different races because they know that they could be a little bit more easily manipulated. He was a manipulator, okay? So that for him, like imagine trying to manipulate a strong black woman. Oh God. That's not happening, my friend. So he went and did what he did. But I used to think like this, that's what they want. They're looking for this girl, they're looking for that girl. But then along the way, I learned, Emmanuel. Okay, I'm gonna put it in the other room. But you can sing over there. You don't gotta sing right under me. Go over there. Shh. I'm gonna take the phone. No. Then be quiet. It's not yours. You don't pay the bill. I do. Anyway, so that was a minute with Emmanuel. When I got along the journey, I'm about to put my earphones on. I don't care. When I got on the journey, I realized that black men prefer black women. That's who they marry. When I found the statistics, And 90% of high value men marry, was it 80%? 80 to 90% of black men of high value status marry a black woman. So, and then I learned that women, well, what they were saying that women are dating outside of their race more than the men. But it was like a similar stat. When I found out that that was the similar stat, I was like, what? It's the same thing. The same thing with cheating. Women cheat at a similar rate as men. I was blown away. So they may not tell you. They may take it to the grave. Women got this thing told to take it to the grave. But I'm gonna be quiet.
That's all. I agree.
Tell me I'm lying,
So
y'all.
we just argued for 30 minutes for nothing. Same on the other end.
Yeah, I did learn that though.
Yeah,
Men,
that's
they
true.
love us. They let them some. They let them some black women. You know why, guys? Let me tell you. The same way. The same way. I know it's gonna come bite me in the back. But hold on one second.
These are the views.
Sometimes this computer want to be slow on me. All right. The same way I would relate to like somebody Haitian is the same way black men will relate to a black woman. So you don't have to explain a bunch of things. I was watching Love is Blind and he had explained something to her. He's like, never mind. It's like it just kills the mood when you gotta explain everything to the person all the time and y'all not in the same. And it wasn't like black on black. It wasn't like black in a different race. He was actually white and the girl was Asian, but he said like a term that we black people would have known what it was, and she didn't know. So for that reason, like we speak similar, we act similar, like we understand each other. The growing up is the same, so we don't have to go in. We're not gonna have these blown out fights about how. That's not right. You're not supposed to spank the kid. They're gonna be like, "Oh, take care, take that up." You know what I mean? Certain things it's like we on the same page about, and there's gonna be differences, but it's gonna be less.
All right, on to the next situation, man. We had a young man that was on here speaking.
So this is where we here for.
Of being a man and how we are taught that sex is what makes us men. I'm gonna play the clip and I'm gonna get your response to what he had to say.
Thank you for sharing the live.
We really don't even know how.
Look at Prince down there, y'all. Yo, I'm in Philly, and they put their stuff on the bus, and every time I see the little kangaroo and them on the bus, I'm like, look at them, they're doing it. They're married, they're young, they're getting money together. His wife was more, her dad and him, they kind of put him on, and they position themselves, and like this is the thing, this is what happens. When like y'all money grow together when y'all two hustlers together. But go ahead, y'all.
Treat a woman because you haven't even seen your mom being treated the right way by a man.
So he said you don't know how to treat a woman because you haven't seen your mom being treated the right way by a man.
So it already messes our minds up to begin with as men of not knowing how to treat. And then I just spoke about this.
But wouldn't that would be your dad treating your mom correctly? If your dad treated your mom correctly, if your dad and your mom weren't together, how you ever going to see that? If you didn't even get a stepdad, you know what I mean? Then how are you like that? That could be rectified if that happened. But if it didn't, then that's a problem.
On social media, so it's ironic you say this. Then when pornography comes into play, because when you hanging around your homies, I just saw the big homies, they tell you that, chasing sex is what makes you a man. That's what makes you that guy. Like, I hit that. Yep. Not realizing that they never really taught us that no, chasing sex wasn't what made you a man. What made you a man is taking care of your family.
Hold pause right there. So I had a conversation about how I handle my son. And, I have to raise him in a certain way where I'm not raising him like a girl. Like I have to raise him like a young man. And if you don't know what that looks like, you're going to raise your son to be super soft and he's scared. There's some men. I was like, why? Why was your mom so overbearing? You was a scaredy cat. They could be the biggest guy Look at them arms. Okay, with the I got this one. All right. They could be the biggest guy, but they're scaredy cats in real life. And you can't be successful if you're not going to take risks. So if I'm over here taking risks all crazy and starting businesses and all that, then that person's not secure. They're going to feel some type of way about what I do and try to sabotage it if they're not, um, if they don't want to see me win. You see what I'm saying? And it's all because of their fear that their mom put in them how they raised them. You see what I'm saying? So now y'all have to understand how the men were raised. Start at the root. How were they raised? How are these young boys raised? How did they come up? If they saw it, if you see a man like he's like, yo, I saw my mom and my dad had a long relationship. My dad took care of my mom, this and then a third. Then he wants that. That's how they want to be. They want to be like their dad. But if they don't see their dad doing it and nobody stepped up to do for their mom, or it's two ways. If somebody has trauma, they can go the opposite way, and this is what not to do, or this is what to do. So if they say, you know what, nobody stepped up to take care of my mom, but I want a family. Like if they don't really come up like I want a family, and this is a smaller percentage, right? Because most people just do what they saw. But if they say, you know what, I'm not going to be like that. I want a family. I'm going to be there for my kids. I want to be there for my wife. I'm going to do all of that. Then he has a picture of it in his mind, and he wants to make that happen. If he sees the auntie, the neighbors down the street, they have to have that example. Sometimes it may be other races that teach them this. Oh, I went to my friend's house. My friend and the parents sat down together. Their family ate together, and there was a husband, there was a wife, and then the family was laughing and having a good time. And I knew I wanted that feeling. It's always going to be something that plants that seed for that man to want to be a husband. Now, when they actually actualize it or want that to happen, then that's a different story. And some men are not ready for that. They're not ready in like some men want to be married, but they think that like once they're married, that woman is gonna, like I don't know how to put it. Like she's gonna make your life more easier than you're gonna make her life easier. And the way to make her life easier is by taking care of the financial responsibilities, but they're not ready to do that. So she can't make your life easier because you're not making her life easier. You see what I'm saying? And it depends on what y'all roles are, but y'all get what I'm saying. So it's important that that man has a picture of marriage. And what these guys are going to tell you is that when men decide at a younger age, not 55, not 68, to be married at a younger age, they get back so much time that they waste. That's why I always laugh in my head. I was like, these guys, they think they're getting somewhere. It was me like in a competitive business setting, and I was like, yo, because I saw how when I was not like I would get in a relationship and my money started acting funny. Like my money would start dwindling down. I'm on a phone instead of making business calls. I'm like somebody call, you know what I mean? So I saw how my money went down. So I was like, how do these guys do it? This is just one relationship, and I'm actually in it. How do they chase after all of these women? And I was like, Ruth, they're wasting time. They're losing their youth. That is their wealth. Their wealth is in sex. That's it. Trying to be a man and prove to everybody that they're a man by having sex with random women and say, oh, I hit that, I hit that, I hit that. That's what they're talking about right now, right? So that's their currency if they know they can't get money. Oh, I'm going to say it again. That's their currency if they know they can't get money. They rather go sleep around, and that's how they get their credibility. So you over here thinking like, oh, men don't really care what their friends think. They think that's their world. Their world and their environment is what I'm going to let them say. I'm not going to say too much. But I need you to understand the psychology of how they are brought up in our community, so you would know what to look for and what's a red flag.
Sure your mom was straight, making sure that your siblings were straight, making sure your wife was straight, your family was cool.
See that we don't have this man who's taking care of everybody type of thing. The only person, think about it, the only person that we have is when the NFL player or the NBA player goes and he makes it and he takes care of the people around him. That's the only examples. And most men are not making that type of money. So they're not even thinking like, oh, okay, let me go do that for my family. They also see the cheating involved, right? They see what's going on that end. So they're not putting emphasis on it, even though those guys are doing it. That's the only examples they see.
Nobody ever taught me that. Nobody ever taught the other
my other peers that information as well. So we out here lost because the big homie was telling us the wrong information. And I think that
I'm gonna take the time right here. I noticed I was in a relationship with somebody, and their parent was not a really faithful man. And I noticed how I was like, yo, you need to go spend time because that is your parent. But the more time he spent, I was like, yo, you coming back a different person. At the end of it, right? And I was like, yo, what? Like I always can pinpoint it to that time of like, oh, this is where you changed. This is where you stop respecting and stop building and start destroying your own house. So it is important that older men stop passing down poisonous information to the younger men. I'm going to say it again. It's important that older men stop passing down poisonous information to younger men. So if you're in your mid 30s and 40s, stop telling guys, young boys, like, yeah, that's back in my day. Like, I know y'all don't talk like that now, but maybe when y'all get a little bit older, or they seeing you constantly still in this mess. Like, even if you don't say it, they see different women in your life. You don't think that plays on their psyche? Like, oh, my dad's the man. He had this girl, that girl, that girl. And then you like, well, why did my son get this girl knocked up at a young age? Well, I don't know. What's his example look like? See, people think that whatever you do, it just goes away. But I learned a long time ago, whatever you reap, you sow, right? Whatever you sow, you reap. I was gonna say that, right? You reap what you sow. That's it. You reap what you sow. So even though you think you're getting away with something, I never forget the day. I was like, do people get away with stuff? And then it was just like last year probably when I heard this. And Jordan Peterson said in his practice, he said nobody ever gets away with anything. Oh, that changed my life. Nobody ever gets away with anything. I want you to let that sink in. Let it sink in. Come on now.
That's real. Thoughts? That's real shit. Can you guys think to a time in your adolescence may have been guided in the wrong direction, and how did you steer back right?
That's that barbershop talk.
I don't think I've ever guided in the wrong direction. Oh man, I done done some off the wall shit. That was all my own. It was all free will. I didn't been told the right direction to go. I just, like a kid, just don't.
He made a good point. He made a really good point. Sometimes it's not, thank you for the hearts. Sometimes it's not that they didn't teach you well or you got bad advice because you really just want to do it. But what instead of people saying like, all right, this is what I did back in my day, but I settled down, right? Or I stopped doing it, or this was the consequences of my actions. People don't tell the whole story, right? They don't tell the whole story of how when they were back in their heyday, they were all around, and now they're the most embarrassing person in the family because they're like, oh, my uncle got kids everywhere, my dad got kids everywhere, right? It's embarrassing to that man now because he didn't think it was a big deal back in the day, but now he's seeing other men settling down, all their kids with one woman, and they're like, well, yeah, they don't think it's cute no more. When you get older, these childish games fade. So if we just tell them the consequences of it, and we could tell the kids the consequences of what's going to happen, and we could keep it real with each other now, and we could let them know, like, listen, this is what happens. When you're dealing with a lot of women, you're going to end up on child support. When you're dealing with a lot of women, you're bound to get one of them pregnant. Unless listen, there's people getting pregnant off of birth control, okay? Like the IUDs and everything. So you think you're cool, but you're gonna end up slipping up. And then you're gonna be like, but why her? It be the I tell you what the guy, he said that girl's not even my style. And then you gotta deal with her forever. You gotta be like at the prom, everybody gonna see who your baby mom was. At the baby shower, everybody gonna see who had your child. You're going to be like this, sir. You're going to be like this. And that's going to be the punishment that nobody talks about. Yo, it's some stuff that you got to deal with in your 30s that you did in your 20s. There's some things you got to deal with in your 20s that you did in your teens. There's some things you got to deal with in your 40s that you did all that time before. You're going to pay the price, good or bad. And I'm just being real. If y'all could be honest about it, let me know.
Yeah, you said don't do this, but you know what? I'm gonna try it.
Yeah. But I'm a product of my environment. So most people are products of the environment.
Product of
So
their
like
environment.
most people are gonna be what they see.
They're gonna be what they see.
That's how it works. You know what I'm saying? I say that a lot. So if you living in the hood and you never see your moms or some of y'all just have your dads. If you never see them with a woman or with a man and they never been loved and they just go and bust their ass and all that type of stuff there, when you become a man or a woman, that's what you're gonna be expecting out of life. You get what I'm saying? You ain't gonna know what partnership is and you ain't gonna know how to treat.
To that point, like I said in the Michelle A movie, her mom was dealing with a man that beat her. So, or the grandma, or they were just like, it's okay. That just means he loved you. Like the poison was passed down. So she thought it was okay. She thought she was doing her family proud and she was doing her job as a woman by taking the beatings and not knowing that it wasn't normal.
Somebody, you ain't gonna know how to cater to somebody. You ain't gonna know what a relationship sacrifice is, because job sacrificing.
Did you hear how he said you're not gonna know how to cater to somebody? That literally was your man example of a man catering to a woman. So I know that we say society always talk about women need to cater to men, but men cater to women. He just said it.
Relationship sacrifice is totally different, two totally different entities. You know what I'm saying? So I get what he's saying, and I feel like that's true. Most people, and especially men, you know what I'm saying? Because we're gonna face it, most men are followers, dog.
Ooh, he said that. I was done. I was done. I was done. He said most men are followers. Have you ever thought about a time where you was like, oh, so you going to do what your friends tell you to do? Is that what it is? Have you ever been dumped because his friends and you didn't think you were cool enough for a certain type of girl, or you know what I mean? Like, how do you let people pressure you? This guy apologized 20 years ago. I broke up with your boo. And I was like, it's all water under the bridge. And that's where I got my second taste of people boys do what their friends and people around them that they think are cool tell them to do. That is the thing. Our culture is a pressure cooker, a pressure type culture where it's like you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I feel bad. I did. I was at the hair store getting some hair products. I was like, girl, she told me she broke down. She used to do her hair natural and then she got a perm. I was like, no, not a perm, right? She said, I had to do it, girl. I had to. I was like, I understand, child. But you want to come back to being natural, right? Trying to recruit. We just do that to each other. We just put pressure on each other for no reason. It's like, why do I care, right? It is what it is. But when you're doing something good, you do want to see your friends do something good. It's the bad. There's like, yo, if I'm doing something wrong, it's a different type of person. But like, look, I'm doing something wrong. I don't want you involved. Versus, come on, you got to do this with me.
Keep it in the bean. You know what I'm saying? Even if he's a solid dude, most men are followers.
Thank you for the heart.
You know what I'm saying? You get some men that just step out and be leaders and all that type of shit. Most people follow, and what I mean by
and follow. He said, and see, a lot of women, they want a leader, but most men are not leaders. You're literally gonna just get a guy that can lead you enough because you don't have the capacity. So a lot of a lot of issues that some capable women run into is, yes, he's a good man, but he has to have the capacity to lead me. And right now, I'm doing so well at work. I'm doing so well in my career. I'm doing so well in raising my family. He has to come in and bring in something else so that I can be able to follow him. And if he can't bring it, then it's not going to really work. You see what I'm saying? Like, so they have to have the capacity. But if you're so busy following other people and your leadership is just okay, you're going to miss out on an amazing woman who could have Y'all could have worked together and did something great. You see what I'm saying? But if you're so busy following your friends in a bad way. Now, if your friends are like, "Oh, we getting money now," you know what I mean, and y'all it's legit, then that's no problem. But it's most likely 9 times out of 10, they always trying to get you to go out. They always trying to get you to go some party. They always trying to get you to go shopping for new girls. You know, you know, that's what it is.
Is they are what they around. That's why most people only move about 5 to 10 miles away from where they was raised. Yeah, you get what I'm saying?
That's
I
true.
seen that stat. So that's I feel them 100%, man. That is true, 100% true. If you don't know and you never seen how how to treat a woman or a man, how do you pick that up? Where do you pick that up at? You know what I'm saying? If you've never seen your mother or your pop getting that type of love, where do you pick that up at? How are you supposed to get the tools? And that's the struggle that a lot of us go through. Even if we're a solid individual, you can get in a relationship and fuck it up because you just don't know. You just don't know. You know what I'm saying? And I hate when people say people ignorant.
I almost want to say it's the women that teach the men how to treat a woman, but it's like too late. You see what I'm saying? Like they gotta learn by experience how to treat a woman and how to act. Like there's a thing like no call, no show. Okay. If you set up a date and you don't call and you don't show and don't come back, like the job said, don't y'all ever have a job, no call, no show, don't come back. Hey, there's a no come back rule. So people have tried to come back, and it was like, I could never in a day in my life take you seriously. Like I don't care what you did back a long, long time ago. I couldn't take you seriously because a text or a call would have sufficed. It would have been like, listen, I just don't want to go. You know what I mean? It'd be like, great, no problem. We can take a rain check. And you couldn't even say that. So that to me as a woman tells me that you cannot even handle conflict well. Not even a little bit of conflict. If you change your mind, if you're not interested, if you're ghosting people, that's what I thought we were going to talk about tonight, is just ghosting people, whatever. But to me, a man who ghosts a woman just for no, like, y'all down the path or whatever, and then you all of a sudden want to back off and don't tell her a reason, don't say nothing. You're punk. I'm sorry. Like it is what it is. It's not like you didn't like if you just met somebody, that's okay. But if you've been dealing with somebody and you can't even tell her, stop. Ooh, you okay? You can't even tell her. Okay, you want to? I'm taking the phone. I'm taking the phone. I'm taking the phone. Sit down. Give me the phone. I'm taking it. I'm taking it. Sit down. Okay, let's go to sleep. Don't go nowhere, y'all. So anyway, like if you can't confront or have like that's gonna leave a bad taste in a woman's mouth because it's like you almost don't care about the situation, and that's why it's so clear. Women, if you don't know this, because some people don't know, if you don't know this, and he's not talking to you, that like he can't say things directly. He doesn't have enough masculine energy to like lead you and say, "Listen, I stand for this, and I don't stand for that." Like if you're really looking for somebody with masculine energy, he's gonna just tell you what it is. But if it's like, and I'm not even talking about like um y'all just fall off. I'm talking about y'all make plans and then he backs out of the plans. That tells me that you talk, but you ain't got no action to back it up. It's just a date, right? And why did you even make it up to go if you are not going to fulfill that? If something happened, you know what I mean? That's why I was like, listen, if there's no wristband involved that you were in the emergency room, there's no coming back for that. So that is why they do it because they don't want to say, this is the reason why I don't like you anymore. And that's fine. But if you're the dummy that picks up the text back the WYD a couple weeks later because he thought he was gonna find somebody better than you, but he didn't, or he's coming back for, they always come back. If you're the dummy that's like responding back, ladies, that's on you. That is on you. So that is that. So yeah, the women treat the women like a man that's like, okay, let's say this girl, she's hot. This girl, she's beautiful, and you don't think that she's on your level, whatever. Like, I know they've told me this. So it's that girl you like back in the day, whatever. She told you this is what you do, this is what you do, and this is how the men are learning. The girls are teaching them how to treat a woman. But let's say they never got that far, they'll never know. You know what I mean? So I don't know if the solution is for a woman like, okay, just take him and work with him, sis. I don't know if that's the solution because he may not want to be taught by you. This is why women, I don't know. Like I was gonna say that women don't want to teach, like if you can't teach him certain things because like you want him to already know. You see what I'm saying? Like that is a good point that we want you to already know certain things. So for example, the men don't get the big scarlet letter because women want a man with experience. You see what I'm saying? Like as far as sexual experience, they want you to be well experienced. They don't want to have to teach you because now they being the mama, but at the same time you have to be, I'm not gonna go too deep into it, but you have to be able to cater or customize. Okay, customize, yeah, tweak it, but I don't gotta be like, this is how a man's supposed to do it. Like no, like you're not doing that. You gotta figure it out on your own. So I give y'all that. This is why their numbers, their all this stuff, women forgive all of that stuff because they want you to be experienced. Men actually want you to be experienced, but then they don't want you to have body count. That's oxymoron, but I'm gonna leave it at that. Y'all agree or don't agree?
Privy to what somebody told you and what you picked up. I mean, ignorance is it's not like bad. I think people give it a negative connotation. I mean, there's nothing wrong with being ignorant. Yeah. Everybody's ignorant to some extent. Exactly. Yeah, but in our community, that's like a trigger word. Yeah, for sure. Type of shit. You know what I'm saying? But most of us are ignorant to how to love somebody. You know what I'm saying? How to be a partner with somebody. You know what I'm saying? How to learn your partner and all these type of things. Why? Because our parents never had that. And if some of them did, it was a toxic relationship. You know what I'm saying? It was the wrong way of doing things. It was the wrong way of treating somebody and all that. So y'all get it, every word that he talking about. Yeah, I mean, I think, just be honest, man. A lot of us just raised the wrong way.
Raised the wrong way.
Just taught wrong in terms of what we should value, in terms of what we should give our attention, time, and effort to. We just brought about the wrong way.
So for the men, what I would say is how we raise the wrong way is like for the men, they're saying that their sexual experiences and encounters is what makes them who they are. That is being raised the wrong way because sex don't make you a man. Right? It makes you a father. That's what it puts you on financial clutches. Okay, that woman. That's what you're doing, sir. But for the women, being raised now the wrong way is just too much independence. So the fact that you think that you don't need any man anywhere at all, right? So when you listen to like Red Pill content, he said man want women, men want women, man wants a woman to read his thoughts. Really? Tell me more. So, okay, well, I mean, the way I would take it is like she knows you well enough to know what you like, and she's doing it. That's what you mean? Let me know. So, women, okay, this girl was on a podcast and she was saying how, oh, but we don't need men. And it's like, but you need a man for everything in your life. Like if you having a plumbing issue, you need a plumber. If you having a crime going on, you're gonna call the cop. That's usually a man. If you need something delivered, is mostly the men. Like the men are doing everything. So to say that you don't need men is just saying you don't want to live in America, right? You want to go back to where where things are less civilized, right? You said yes. All right, good. I'm glad. Yeah, that's a really good point, Chuck. You said you want to go back to the caveman days, but then y'all gonna be out here running and hunting the lions, tigers, and bears because that's back then. Now men have made it easy for women to live. Like when I heard that, I was like, This is the first time y'all got me real good. This is the first time y'all got me real good. We live in a society that men build. Well, damn, that's true. No? Is it not true? I look down the street and the women are not in them tunnels that they be fixing all the time. No, they're not in them drains. Y'all see the one where the guys in the roaches was all crawling him. Oh my God, why would somebody do that? Respect. Because I ain't doing this, sir. We just gonna have a nasty word. Right? We don't want, yes, we can change some tires, but I don't want to. I could just pay somebody to do it, right? So yeah, I used to be the one to be like, nah, I don't need them. I don't need them. I just pay somebody to do it. But you're paying a man. So you see how that's kind of crazy. So yeah. Anyway.
Most men are taught, even from married men. Like, if you think about it, like, most men don't even speak of being married in a high regard.
It don't seem fun at all.
This shit sucks. No, I'm not gonna let you do that, man. Shout out to my baby.
Shit is funny.
My baby.
That shit is hell. Hell.
But I mean, just honestly, man, like, growing up, older men did not speak of marriage with like high esteem. Like, yeah, bro, this is something that you should strive for, right?
I think that is one of the main problems.
Get marriage, taking care of your family, get you.
If the people that you're expecting that's in something, let's say you wanted to start a real estate business, and I'm like, real estate sucks. I'm mad. It ain't what it's cracked up to be. You know, I don't want to say I ever said that, but I'm like, no, it can be great too. You know, but I'm always gonna give you that both sides. Okay, so it looks glamorous, but this is what it's really like. But at the end of the day, if you can get through that crazy period in the beginning and you can keep it going, it's going to be. I love it. You know, you could be real without being too negative. But the men were just like, nah, this sucks right here, right? But like they said, there were toxic relationships back in the day because a lot of women didn't. When even though y'all saying, oh, marriage rate was so high back in the day, a lot of them women couldn't go nowhere. Mayweather, stop. Give me the phone. A lot of women couldn't go nowhere because they were dependent on him for her. Okay. See, I just showed y'all that. That was an example. Give me the phone. I'm at the phone. Hold on. Oh, wow. Well, good luck trying to get that. That's on you. Gonna throw it back at me. See, I showed him something bad and he did it right back to me. That's an example. All right.
Woman forever good. Yeah, this is what you need to be doing. That's not the tutelage that we get. We get, man, I miss being single. I mean, I'm here, you know, I'm sacrifice. Marriage and sacrifice. I had to give up this to make my family work. Damn, my wife all getting on my goddamn nerves. I'm gonna stay at work later than I need to, so I can get away from her ass. And you know, I love my kids, but goddamn, they all on my damn. They get on my nerves. They want money. Everybody just wants something from me. Shit, I'm stressed.
And I'm sorry, but I gotta blame the women on that one. If that's it right there, I'm gonna give a lot of the blame to the women for that one because you don't gotta stress him. Like you could be like, babe, I'm stressed, without saying I'm gonna stress you too. You see what I'm saying? And he could hear what you're saying, understand, sympathize. But what do? We start making. Dang, that's deep. All right, so we start playing the victim and making the husband the bad guy for our discontent. We need somebody to blame. I'm just putting myself in a toxic woman's mindset, right? Because this is toxic behavior. You need somebody to blame. You learn that men are the bad guys. So now you making your husband the bad guy. Oh, I've been with these kids all day long. And then you just let me sit here. I don't get a break. I don't get nothing, but you don't put yourself in his shoes, right? And then you start complaining, right? Instead of finding ways to calm your emotional nerves telling him what you need. Hey, you know what? I need 2 days where I'm resting. I need to be able to take the kids somewhere. I need to be able to sit in the house for 4 hours and de-stress, right? So I can have a better attitude. We didn't know. That's why we didn't come up with these solutions. But now that we're looking at the research, that's all we needed to do. All she needed was some time to herself. Oh my gosh. Y'all just brought me back. I remember when the baby was younger. When the baby was younger, all you wanted was some time to yourself. You had multiple kids and you couldn't go to the bathroom in peace. All you wanted as a woman to have time for yourself. So the man, if he understand what's going on, read the situation right, Emmanuel. If he read the situation correctly, he's going to do things in a way to solve the problem. But if he's like a passive type of man, or he gonna set them kids straight. If you just set them straight, right? Just putting it back on her. Now he the victim. So we got to get out of victimhood and start being more solution based. What do you guys think?
He died at 54. So it's
that
like
was the guy that was complaining. He was like, the kids get on my nerves, this and that. You know, yeah, he couldn't handle the pressure of it all. It gets crazy, y'all. Like, y'all think it's sweet, but what's worse than not, and the family being under one roof is the family being in two roofs, under two roofs. So that is the best scenario. And if y'all don't know how to make a great environment, I was telling somebody, like, when me and my kids get together, it's a vibe, right? Like, it's, we miss each other. They go back and forth. And, you know, they're with me a majority of the time, but there's still a couple of days where we don't see each other. It has turned out to be a blessing. And when we come together, it's a peaceful, you know, no fight. They get a little riled up before they go to their dads. And I'm just like, okay, it's time to go. Like, it's time to go. I like how y'all was cool the whole time. Soon as that time come around, they start, you know, and it's just like the change, you know, they don't like the change. But when we got our movie nights, we got when we gonna go out, we got certain things set up. And most times, like it's lately, as we've been doing better to have an environment of peace. Because why? Because I remember all of the mom coming in and yelling, and why is this not clean? And why not that clean? And I'll be the first one to be like, yo, I did have a breakdown. I was like, yo, I haven't yelled so long. wait, let me give you my reason. This is what had happened, okay? I was scrubbing showers and I was cleaning the whole place, and they come back from their vacation and they thought it was vacation time. They gonna leave this here, leave that there. I went there and got them some food and they left the plate there. I was like, oh. You know, I just went off. And I was like, all right, we're not going to do that. Why? Don't do that again. Where's the belt? Give me the belt. No, if you can give me the belt, I can help you. I can fix it. Yeah, no, don't me. To you. Me and him have been having so much time. The daycare ain't going to get this boy back. Stop it. No. Pop. Give me my phone. Nah, me and him are good now. We good. All right, so yeah, until you tired. Go ahead.
What type of incentive do we got to get married? God damn. But that's real. So
what did I say earlier? The bad press of marriage in our community. The bad press of marriage in our community. I personally can say, okay, shout out to the people in my past, that even though it wasn't the best personal situation, it was a business. I knew what time I clocked in and I could clock out. He knew when he clocked in, everything worked around each other, around the family. And I could see how it could be beneficial, that it could work out. Now, if we had a great relationship on top of that, like the business and the personal relationship was two different things. But as the marriage for itself, it was not that bad for like to be like, what about the kids? What about the house? What about the schedules? What about I was making it work. I was determined to make all of those pieces work, right? Maybe we had to not be in the same room at the same time, but it was never like screaming, arguing, or whatever. See what I'm saying? So for me, I could see. I was like, yo, and one day I came up with the idea. I was like, yo, all you need is a man to keep the bills paid, right? Stable. And then the wife will go out and start a business, right? She's taking care of the kids, but she could start a business. So what I did, I started a daycare business and it took care of both needs at the same time. So I said, we put that together, we make six figures together, we start doing our thing together, like and it would grow from there. And that's how I was like, yo, people can really come up with this idea. Now, when you don't have the support there, though, that kind of fell on its head. And then that's when I was like, ding, ding, ding. Ruth, you trying to do this idea, but you got to have a good business partner, too. You got to. And that's how I knew. I was like, I need a little different type of husband. You know what I'm saying? Like, but I've seen women do it. Shout out to the women that do it. Shout out to the men that support their women and make it happen.
I think, but it's a lot of times because they was in just toxic marriages them damn selves, and their parents was in toxic marriages them damn selves, so they can't.
So if you see toxic marriages, what you put together, you would create another toxic marriage. If y'all didn't see people together and this dynamic of success, you just saw this one said something bad to this one. This one acted a certain kind of way. That one cheated. This one did that. This one ran her mouth. If you just saw that, y'all gonna come together and y'all not gonna be able to make it work because y'all don't have the tools. It's supposed to be the kids get married and the parents guide them and counsel them. They have this thing in Haitian culture. We be like, we in America now, okay? Cut it out. Like if a husband and a wife does not get together, they literally sit y'all down and the parents get involved. But what they don't understand, it'd be too deep into it. Now they want to counsel people. And I'm like, no, you should have been giving them, you should have taught them relationships first so they could pick the right person. I was like, this is pointless. Like they used to do that all the time. The people get divorced anyway. I was like, nah, baby, this is America, okay? Nah. But it would have worked if, they were involved from the jump. Don't wait till it's about to be over to get involved.
Give what they ain't got per se. But I do think that that's wrong, and a lot of us are measured by our ability to have sex with women. That's how we get status. A man could be dead broke, but if he has a reputation for just being able to pull a lot of women, whatever, he's still looked at in high esteem in the community, in the black community.
So y'all don't think that's toxic as far as the community, the black community, promoting their men for being promiscuous and involved with several women? Like you don't see how that perpetuates that cycle. Men love to complain about child support, but they don't complain about the men that big them up for sleeping with a lot of women that leads to child support. All right, I'm gonna say that again. Men love to complain about child support, but they don't complain about the people that keep on egging them on to put them in a situation so they can have to pay child support. A lot of men are destroyed by child support, but they're not going to tell you that it was their toxic ways that got them in there in the first place because nobody had a gun to your head to tell you sleep with that person.
Come on, mama.
Okay, I'm almost done. I'm sorry, baby.
Come on, mommy.
No knock to the guys, but the same thing for the women. Nobody told you sleep with that guy so you can get pregnant. Same thing. Same thing.
And that's wrong. So whereas in other communities, like you looked at in self-esteem by what you accomplish, how much money you bringing in, how many people you taking care of, how many people you employing. That's where the status comes from. But in our community, niggas just could be out here just hitting bad hoes, be dead broke, $5 in his pocket. He still looked at it as like an upstanding, solid dude. Yeah, man, that's a real one right there, man. He got to go. Straight up. So I think that speaks to the programming. We got to change that. We got to start speaking about marriages on these platforms. The right marriage.
Right there was my beacon of light. Y'all don't know how frustrating it is trying to talk to people that don't want to make a change. That's like talking to your teenager and you tell them to stop such and such because it's not going to be good. You think the boys want to hear don't have sex or the girls don't want to hear don't have sex? They don't want to hear that. But you know that teenage motherhood is waiting around the corner. You can see them falling off the cliff. If I can see the community falling off the cliff, I'm going to say something. But I know that it's going to take women standing up And it's going to take men standing up. Like he just said, we have to change our programming. Okay. I don't think when we say the word programming, right? I don't think we understand the definition of programming. Okay. It's not, it's like the psychology definition of programming. Yes. Programming. Hold on. Psychology of programming. How do you explain programming? Okay. Okay, this is how I understand the word programming. Programming is your subconscious thoughts. Your subconscious thoughts by, let me see. Let me see what you're watching. Let me see. I'm going to take it. Put it on Blippy right now. Blippy right now. I'm taking the phone. And give me the belt. And give me the belt. Sorry, guys. So, your thoughts are saying marriage is bad. And to the men, marriage, why would you do that? Why would you could be single? You could do whatever you want. You could do this. You could do that, right? You can do whatever you want. Why would you tie yourself down to one? These are the thoughts that playing in their mind. They're not seeing the benefits, the negativity. So your programming controls your thoughts. Your thoughts controls your words. Your words control your actions. And then your actions control your results. Your results determine your success. That's why when you say you're single and you can do whatever you want, but are you successful? You see, there's some men that start because this is the prop. Like I was talking to somebody and I was like, in Haitian community, right? There is a stigma for men not being married by a certain age. And I was saying how that's not a thing with us black people. So I would trust that more, that the man wants to get married and have his home and da-da-da. That is a thing for them. They get pressured by society in that way. Black people in general don't have that. It's the opposite. Don't get married. Don't do this. And then society on top of that, slapping them on the wrist for getting married. So we understand, but it's still like if you choose well, if you step up and be that man, then you could be the first good example. Is it gonna always be like this? Your sons are gonna be single forever. Like if we all single forever, we always gonna be in broken home territory. That's how it's gonna be. If y'all feel like broken homes is what's good for our community, you go right along and do it. But don't complain about broken homes, but you're causing them. Every single time you have a baby and you're not married, you're causing a broken home. Just to let you know that. I'm not trying to be the bad guy. I'm just telling you the truth.
Just let me reiterate. We gotta start speaking on the right marriages the right way. Like there is benefit to this shit. Like it's not all just,
by the way, I'm not perfect,
gloomy and just sacrifice and just, oh man, I had to give up everything I ever wanted to do to be in this situation. We gotta stop doing that and speak about these solid women that's out here, these solid wives that's out here contributing to your life in a positive way.
I have never, okay, I have never heard them get up on a platform, and maybe I'm listening to the wrong things, but we hear a lot of negative stuff about women and wives. But to say, or we'll hear the women brag on their husbands, but the men bragging about their wives, that's, I would say I heard Anton Daniels do it. He brags about his wife all the time. Props for you for that one. But yeah, he about the first man that just talk about how great his wife is. There's other men that talk about the benefits of marriage, but he's really a big proponent for it. So this is another man who does that, who just talked about how awesome his wife is and not capping. Because why would you get up on here and lie? It ain't perfect, but he sees there's more pros than cons. It gets even better, y'all. Hold on.
And then not only that, but advise the young dudes, this is what you should strive for. Because
Thank
family is
you.
the most important. Problem is, most niggas don't realize that until they 35 or 40.
And what I would say to that is a lot of times, like I got to a point where I was like, look, the young girls, they gonna have it. They gonna listen to Auntie Ruth, and they gonna be all right. They gonna be all right. My daughters, hopefully, they gonna be all right. Right? They're gonna have the information. At least they have the information. Now, if they decide to do wrong and be like, dang, my mama told me right. I did wrong, and now I see it on my own. I'm gonna make sure my daughter doesn't experience that. And then one thing to show, see the problem with parenting, y'all be telling them too much stuff. Y'all gotta show them. It's one thing to tell your kids something. Oh, you need to pray to God. You need to go to church on Sunday, and you sending the kids. What kind of mess? You need to go. You need to pray to God. You need to read your Bible. And then you can tell the kid, see what mommy does. This is what you should be doing. You never even have to say it. They just know the right way. So now, if you believe in that, but now it's like the same thing with, that's why I said a lot of people they owe themselves and their families a chance at marriage, because that's the way you teach your children. I mean, I know I heard it before, but I was mopping the bathroom floor and Emmanuel grabs the mop and starts mopping behind me. And that's what I was like, when somebody said, an influencer was like, if you pay a maid, then your kids never see you clean. And that was powerful to me, right? And it didn't hit me until that moment that he's going to be cleaning. Like my son's going to be very clean. He was grabbing brooms and mops from the junk. He ain't never played with nothing. Brooms and mops, he loves them. So I know he's gonna be neat free. So they have to see it though. I noticed that when people come from messy homes, the kids messy. They come from neat homes, the kids are neat. Y'all are programming your kids a certain kind of way by your behavior. You can't tell your kids they can't cuss and you cuss. You cuss right in front of them. You say the craziest thing to their face. And you want them to have good language. They're not supposed to talk like that. You're not supposed to talk like that, especially not in front of them. Yeah, and I always say be one person, but in that scenario, you better be two different people, because you don't want them to catch those bad habits. But what do I know?
So now, you might have done been out here smashing all these women. You got 2 or 3 kids, this, that, and the third. So it's like you jaded now. When you think about legacy and shit, I got 3 different baby mamas.
That is such a good point. You fell into the trap of single is the best life, and now you've got 2, 3 different baby mamas, and you jaded because y'all relationship didn't work out. Okay, so your relationship, you planned on, you didn't, that's like not planning a baby, right? When you're planning a baby, right? The married people know this. When y'all plan a baby and y'all married, it's a different moment than, oh my gosh, I'm pregnant and we're not even together. It's totally different. It's like, yeah, we all knew this was gonna happen. We wanted it. We were like, you want to have baby tonight? Like that's how that go, right? We was like, and I knew it, and I knew the moment you got pregnant. He was like, yay, he was happy because that's what you wanted. So that's proactive in the marriage scenario. Reactive is, oops, my bad. We was at a club one night, and I don't even know. You know what happened? By popped up pregnant, popping up pregnant. How you pop up pregnant, ma'am? You had to do something to get pregnant. You can't pop up pregnant. We need to stop saying that one, right? We want to let it go, but then it get good. All right, so what I'm saying is men are being reactive and not proactive. And this man is telling y'all, men, young men, and older men telling the younger men, if I had to do it all over again, I would XYZ. That's what y'all got to, that's what has to be on your lips. That has to be your legacy, is that if your life was one mistake after another, you come and teach others. That's what Ruth in Relationships is about. It's not about me being perfect. It's about all the mistakes that I had to make to learn how to be better in relationships. I was good at being in the relationships. I was horrible at picking the men that I would get into relationships with. Because if you pick the right person and you got the skills, I learned and acquired the skills, and you got to have both to put it together. So if you're just like, oh, I'm going to be single and nobody can tell me what to do. Yeah, the courts is going to tell you what to do when you end up popping up with 2 girls pregnant, especially at the same time, or not. They going to tell you what to do. She going to have something to say. So you're never getting away from it. I told somebody like, somebody was like, "Yeah, I'm a boss. I'm an entrepreneur. Nobody can tell me what to do." I said, "Your customer tell you what to do." Like we're never going to get away from somebody telling us what to do. The government tells us what to do. They tell us to pay your taxes. If not, there's consequences. There's always going to be consequences, guys. You don't get away with nothing. Even if you feel like you're getting away with everything, you got to answer to God. You got to answer to God. Y'all have, hey, oh my gosh, y'all not finna make me testify tonight. You ever been in a scenario where you find yourself at a hospital, in the pit somewhere, in a bad situation, and you knew it was God? Like, yo, God, you ain't got to get my attention like this, God. You ain't got to get my attention like this. I would have listened. I would have listened. If I find myself in the hospital and I wasn't planning on being there, I was like, okay, God, what you about to say? Because this is crazy. If I found myself in the back, my back against the wall. So recently something happened where everything came like, and I was like, it's a person. It's a person. The person came and then, and I like, this happened to me a couple times. And I was like, it can't be because God knows how to come through at this time, nick of time, nick of time. And I was like, all right, that trick didn't work. That didn't work. That didn't work. Okay, God. Okay, God. Okay, God. And God's like, let that person go. If you let them go, have you ever let somebody go and the next day everything's like, wow, look at this sunshine came out again? All right. That's what happens when you have a relationship with God. You got stories, honey.
They taking my child support out. They garnishing my checks, all type of shit. You miserable now. So whereas if you would have had that tutelage early and getting put in the right, you know what I'm saying, trajectory early, your life would have turned out different.
Your life would have turned out differently.
You know, a lot of us, especially in the black community, I can't speak to the other communities, but I know in ours, we get programmed to do the wrong shit. And that causes...
Yo, do you see the stress on the men's face? Look at them. They tired or they really thinking and contemplating. They're like, damn, I got to pay child support. I'm sorry, that's not funny. But it looked like that though right now. It's like, damn, you right.
Relationships to be as terrible as they are today.
I know me growing up, I grew up totally different than y'all. In my early stages, I grew up in a community where it was a lot of two-parent households, you know. And our parents, they didn't, you know, show any type of arguments or whatever they had going on. I never seen that ever. Right. I still don't see it most of the time, anyways. But me and my boys, they didn't have that. Whatever, my best friend back there. But sex somehow still came up, and not between our parents. It was from us as kids.
Yeah. Here you go.
And I don't think it was us as guys. I think it was the young girls that actually.
He goes into the topic of how young girls try to. A lot of them said that young girls taught them how to like put sex on them, pressured them to have sex.
You know what I'm saying? My parents weren't strict like that. Y'all know my parents weren't strict like that. But you know, it's like, hey, don't do this. You know, follow the rules. But you know, we break rules and shit.
You know what's wild? I think what contributes to that recklessness is what you just said. Like not discussing it. Like sex is seen as just so taboo. Like you don't even have a conversation in the household. So when you finally get to experience it, you're like, oh shit, this is something new, this is shiny, you know, whatever. This is
they don't tell you what's on the other end.
This is new. So I'm gonna go 100 miles.
And I did mention I did mention how child support is like a really painful thing for men, but also rearing a child is painful for men as well. There's some young men that have no clue how to raise a baby, but when you are like, so the benefit of being in a marriage of like a woman being understanding of like you're a man and you got to go to work and all that stuff like that. A lot of the heavy load is by the woman. Like I'm here to tell all the women, like, listen, and then you want to like bear the load. Why would you put all that on him and the bills? And you know that's not fair. So I took it upon myself to bear the heavy load of it. And you don't even have that option. When you're a single dad, you feel that real quick. When you take that newborn baby that because you was never in a relationship with her and you know you can't be with her, and you take that newborn baby home and you got to take care of that child, or not even a newborn, a couple months old, and you got to take the baby home and you just don't know what to do and you can't handle it. Like people don't talk about this kind of stuff. Like how to make the baby go to sleep and how to have rules and boundaries and all of that stuff when they're growing up and not giving them every little thing. Like they don't know what they're doing, but they know they can have sex. This is the miseducation of sex and relationships in our community. It's ignorance begetting ignorance. It's naivete begetting naivete. Nobody want to talk about it. And now you better hope they don't learn about sugar daddies, sugar babies, and all of that stuff on the internet. They're not talking about relationships in a positive light. They're going in the. That's why if we don't keep positive programming on the internet about relationships, then our kids are not even ever going to have a choice. So whether you think this is something that is drawn out, why we got to talk about relationships? Because you're not good at it. We're not good at it. That's why we got to talk about it until we get good, until we iron out all the kinks, until we got this locked down, until everybody gets their goals, relationship goals done, and not taking silly little routes and silly little shortcuts. Then we're not gonna be done. And then turning around and teaching our babies the same thing. You know they gotta get coupled up. If you have nothing to teach them because you didn't learn nothing, that's embarrassing. You got nothing for them? There was people that had better relationships than us that at least showed an example if they didn't speak about it because it was taboo. But now you have nothing to show and to tell. And you think you did a good job as a parent. Oh, we're not going to get into parenting.
And I think that's what a lot of dudes do compared to like if it wasn't so taboo, if a lot of parents was open to having that conversation with their kids young, then it was just like, all right, sex is just a part of life. You know what I'm saying? It ain't, whatever. But when you try to hide it, like they're gonna treat it like lost treasure. And oftentimes that shit is gonna go left. That's why you got chicks
and
getting pregnant at 17,
left.
18 dudes out here.
And she's 17. 4
or 5 different baby mamas because he in overdrive.
4 or 5 baby mamas. Overdrive. He ain't never spitting all facts.
They never discussed it. Do you think
the girl pop up pregnant? My daughter she's in 9th grade. She was in the 9th grade. People already pregnant in the 9th grade. Because you wasn't talking about it with them. You didn't let them know. I knew the golden age. I was on her like, and listen, like you never know. These girls be in the bathroom. You can never let them out. Oh, that never happened to me. I don't let them out their sight. Well, when y'all at school, when they at school, what do you think they doing at school? What do you think? You don't think they have opportunities to act up, smoke weed? My daughter was telling me how somebody was taking drugs. One of her friends was acting crazy over some drugs. Like, this is her parents don't let her do nothing. But her parents don't talk to her correctly and don't warn her. So kids, they don't want to be the weird one. They want to fit in. And if this is how they're gonna fit in, the pressure, they break and they crack under pressure. If you cracking at 14 and 16 and 17, right? How you gonna crack when you're 30? You gonna crack when you're 21? You gonna crack in college when they say it's time to be a slut. It's time to be whole culture. It's time to have your hot girl summer. You're gonna crack every time. You cracked at an early age. You're gonna keep cracking, baby, because you didn't get healed. Tell me I'm lying. Please do. Or do you agree?
The young girls are forcing these young boys to have sex first. Like when you think about it, like J. Cole said in his song
early on,
he was talking about she said, "Hey, come on."
Early on, I was pressured a lot.
I ain't never done this before. You know what I'm saying? It was when I was young. I didn't bring none of that shit up. It was another girl coming to me about it. Yeah, I don't know about y'all.
That's the first time I heard that.
The same way.
When I was younger, it was definitely like that.
Where they getting that from?
Yeah.
I never thought about that. But no, that's true. Like thinking back, that was my first being honest.
They all said it.
And Mama Double by Pee Wee in there. Because I didn't get it from keep it quiet. My uncles and my dad and nothing like that. They didn't force me, hey, you need to go hit all these hoes. I didn't get none of that. I'm not saying y'all did. I'm saying I didn't get that. But the thing is, not even necessarily going to have sex with women. They just saying you need to gather you a bunch of different women. You need to be pulling numbers. You need to be the baddest chicks. Yeah. And you know what it is? A lot of times it don't even be direct, like actionable item order.
Right.
It's like when I was young, I was right. I had this, boy, right. I don't got no.
So those stories, and guess what? The women nowadays are probably doing the same thing. When they like, oh, I had this guy and I had that guy and all of these guys, this and then the third. So girls are gonna think that that's normal. that's cute. You know what I mean? And you gotta be like, put it in the context. It's like, no, like this is what it really is versus you bragging about it. You bragging about it means a lot. Be careful what you brag
y'all ain't
about.
doing what I was doing back in the day.
And y'all got technology now. I ain't had none.
Right. So
I can
what
hear
that
them
does
saying
as a
that,
kid is
though.
like, okay, well, damn, I'm behind. So let me go out here and try to catch up and live up to this legacy, which is oftentimes over exaggerated. We're gonna keep it real.
Over exaggerated. Now they over here lying to the kid. You was not getting that many girls, sir.
Good morning.
So he wasn't saying like the men were told to go have sex with a lot of women. He was saying you need to be getting numbers, and now you know what that leads to.
To be lying, but let me go try to live up to this legacy that they talking about. And if I ain't, then I'm living wrong. My pop's telling me I'm living wrong.
I didn't get none of that until a girl called my house and all my uncle was over. My mom said, "Who is this calling your phone in the house?" Mom was like, "Oh, you got you something over there, huh?" Yeah, you know. But before then, you know, playing dominoes, they never bring none of that shit up, none of that. Until they found out, oh, you got a girl now. Oh, well, you know, back in my day, something like that. But I was already fucking by then. Since you done started, boy, let me tell you how deep I used to be.
Yeah, man. I think just men in general, we need to be way more intentional in terms of teaching our young men, especially, the importance of a relationship, the importance of building legacy. You know what I'm saying? So that way, when we get into this shit, we ain't, a fish out of water. Like a lot of us literally be, when we get into a relationship with a woman that we know is solid, know is a good.
Hold on. What he said was so important, and it just, to me, like I said again, shout out to the men who step up. You know, it takes courage to step up and say what's right and what's true and what's not cool and what's not popular. It later when you die, everybody's gonna praise you, but right now it's gonna feel uncomfortable to be speaking truth to power, even if the power is in the culture. Right? There's a thing called the hater culture, like in the black community, like if you giving somebody props or you give them like you riding, you riding and eating and all of that stuff like that, it's like you can't even say something positive to somebody. If I give somebody a compliment on the street, they're like, what? Like, huh? Like that is the reaction sometimes. They're not used to getting love from somebody, from a stranger, or saying, girl, that's so cute. And it happens. Like it depends on the personality. We've experienced positivity, but majority is that watch you on Instagram, hate on you, got something to say. That's the culture now. It just went. It took a left. Tell me I'm wrong. You trying to cancel somebody every day.
We feel like a fish out of water. I don't know what I'm doing here. And we assume that she does. So that causes us to try to please her and try to climb up to this, moral pole on this moral ladder.
And this is here's the crux of it. This is the reason why some guys don't want to be in a relationship when they feel like she's this good character, high moral type of person they wasn't ready for, and they didn't know how to handle her because they were never taught that. Now this woman is like, I need you, the woman up here, she's like, I need you to be up here. And he's like, man, I'm just trying to give you that. I didn't try to catch up to you. That you want way more than I could give you. The man is going to decide, one, I can't handle all of this pressure. I just want to be back to myself and go back to the life I was living. Or he's going to step up to the plate. Or he's actually going to prepare himself for the scenario. He's either going to learn as he go or he's going to already know. But I'm sure it's not a lot of them that already know. Got to wrap it up. Come on.
From to where she is up here, I need to get my shit together. I need to get my money. I need to be more faithful. I need to whatever, because it's automatically assumed the man coming in, he gonna cheat, he gonna do this, he gonna do that. So let me try to climb up here to this moral ladder and prove her wrong and be the man that she needs me to be. When oftentimes she didn't.
Okay, do you hear his thinking? Okay. When the man meets the right woman that he will change for, he's like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta step up, I gotta do this, I gotta that. But in the majority of society, I wanted to point this out. Women are not like, I gotta be the woman that he wants me to be. No, right? I mean, a good woman will do that, but a majority of women are like, why do I gotta do anything? But you just said you see what I'm saying? You just heard him like, I'm about to beat something though. I gotta be so loud, Papa. Okay, so we just got the proof. Don't. Hey, then you're not getting it back. You're not getting it back. All right, it's time to pop out. Go give me the
Get
belt.
the fucking toilets. What a relationship should look like.
When you finally climb up there, find out Pee Wee been back in See, I got some of both. Honestly, it was mine was more. We talked about it, but it was just like, if you need to come to me, let's talk about it. This is what a condom is, what it's used for. But then, especially like football, like
There was one more topic.
Dig a little deep into that. Last one, A-Block. This is a clip speaking on
Emmanuel.
why men push good women away.
Okay, Emmanuel, stop. Look at men pushing good women away. Don't show your background,
why
please.
do men push good women away? Okay, let me tell you. Number one, he pushes her away because he doesn't want to elevate. He doesn't want to become a better version of himself. And he realizes that if I stay with this particular woman, I gotta be better, and I'm willing to sacrifice that. Number two, he's intimidated. See, many men are intimidated by a woman. Number one, who knows who she is. Number two, she's secure in her right, in the woman that she's become, and she does not need him for her happiness. She's already happy. She just wants to be in a loving relationship, and he's intimidated by that. Number three, she cannot be controlled. Men push away women who they can't control, especially if they have those controlling behaviors, those narcissistic behaviors where they can't control you, where you are a critical thinker, you think for yourself.
All right, guys. So I'm going to stop right there. What we'll do is we'll continue with tomorrow, because this is going to be a whole. I want to deep dive into these topics, because he's they're gonna disagree and agree.
Baby, do it.
But baby boy said he's hungry, so I just fed you, puppy. Okay, you ready to say bye? Say bye. Can you say Ruth in relationships? Ruth in relationships.
Yeah.
Tell me, can you handle it?
Tell me that.
Yay! So thank you so much for watching Ruth in Relationships. Tell me, can you handle it? It's the Ruth in Relationship Show. Bye. I bless your dead and love your married and your children. Bye. Hopefully not at the same time. Have a good one, guys.
Bye.